Good morning. Welcome to the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. Hello. I love you. Won't you tell me your name? I see lots of friendly faces and some I'm not yet familiar with. Welcome, everybody. It's so good for Shemaine and I to be back in our spiritual home. We missed you too. Let's start out this beautiful morning with some song. We're still celebrating the wonder of work. So we're going to sing Seed to Sow. Everybody's got a seed to sow. So sing along with us. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday, and welcome to the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Robert Ekman, and I am a member at our center and happy to be your service host this morning. Whether you're joining us in person here in our sanctuary or if you're joining us through our virtual love stream, welcome. We're happy that you're here. This center is a spiritual community where all are welcome. Our center is a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy for daily living based on spiritual principles and practices that are universal among all religions. We honor all pathways by which people seek to know and connect with the divine, and we work on our individual consciousness to help make the world a better place. We know that we are all perfect, whole, and complete beings, and each of us are on our own road to a greater spiritual experience. Our practitioner holding high watch today is Teresa Martin. Teresa will be holding us in prayer throughout our service today, knowing the highest and greatest good is unfolding for each of us as we share this special time together. And our prayer practitioner this morning is Farrell Zeman. From wherever you are, I would like to invite you to recommit yourself to our center's spiritual or mission purpose by saying this statement with me. We are an open, welcoming community, celebrating our divinity, loving our humanity, and nurturing our journeys of spiritual discovery. Thank you. For more of what's going on at our center, you can check out our website at www.spirituallyfree.org. Today, our guest speaker is Reverend James Peake. Reverend James is going to speak to us on the topic of living your dream, and our special music will be provided by Mary Tebbs. No, by the one and only Rick Sharette. You're not as pretty as Mary, but you're still lovely. Thank you. Next week, we welcome Lana Cairns to the podium, and she will deliver a message called Failing Forward, and I'm very excited for that. I'd like to acknowledge anyone who's here for the very first time. If you're willing to raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you with a round of applause. Yay, here's someone here. Thank you for being here. Yay, thank you for joining us today. I hope that you find something here that serves you and on your spiritual journey. In the lobby, you can pick up a welcome packet that includes a copy of Science of Mind magazine for your perusal, and that's full of some great stuff. By way of announcements, today at 1 o'clock, Reverend James Peake is going to offer a workshop called Finding the One Within. A primary principle of Science of Mind is oneness, and yet we're often challenged to go beyond the idea of oneness and actually experience it. Instead, we experience separation. We experience separation in our mind, in our emotions, in our body, and how we perceive the world at large. So in this workshop, you'll have the opportunity to learn what it means to live in the one presence, uncover hidden beliefs that keep you from experiencing oneness, and understand how to live fully present in the world, but not be of the world. This will take place this afternoon at 1 o'clock. It is a ticketed workshop with a special price for couples and includes lunch for all attendees. So I encourage you to please stick around and join us for that. Every Wednesday night in September, we are enjoying a sound bath meditation from 6:30 to 8:30. Our own Shanti and her guest musicians come together to offer you a midweek evening reboot. Refresh your body, your mind, and your spirit with healing sounds and meditation using a variety of wonderful instruments. So please consider joining us, and tickets are available on Eventbrite. A reminder that our email center office email account is temporarily down. So if you need to reach the center, or if you have that hot lead for our new home and are ready to share that, please send your email to slcsl@spirituallyfree.org, and that information is also on our website. So, as I just mentioned, we are looking for our new home. We are sad to have to leave this one and are excited to find our new home, and we need your help. We know that our congregation joins us here from all over the valley, and that your eyes need to be our eyes as we seek our perfect next home. We're looking for a large space that can accommodate all of these good folks and all of this good stuff. We're looking for a space that can accommodate us, including classroom space, social space, and a place where we can hold our services. So if you have any information, please feel free to submit it to a member of the board, or again to SLC. It's a hard one. SLCSL, spirituallyfree.org. All right. This center is founded on and grounded in prayer. Prayer helps us deal with whatever comes our way and creates a positive experience regardless of our situation or conditions. Our professional prayer practitioners are trained in the art and science of affirmative prayer and are ready to pray with you and for you. Online, you can click on the prayer request button. Here in person, you can connect with one of our practitioners for a quick prayer or to schedule something longer, and you can recognize any of our practitioners by the purple stoles they wear around their necks. Now, I invite you to please settle in. Allow Farrell's reading and the centering music to take you to the sacred space within, and then Farrell will lead us in prayer.
My reading today is adapted from a writing by Keo Briggs. To live your dream, you must first create your dream, then commit yourself to it. It's not just wishing. I'm going to read that again. To live your dream, you must first create your dream, then commit yourself to it. Our willingness to constantly commit to that dream, to taking one more step toward our dream, even when that step looks too difficult to take, even when we think we may fall too far, or when it feels too hard, or even when we know it'll mean going against the convention of what the people around us are doing, keeps us creating the dream, which in essence is living the dream. We always have the time to do the things we want to do, to follow our dreams and to be the people we want to be. We just need to choose to do it, then use our time and energy to live our dream.
Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Do you remember? To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Do you remember? To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. To love, serve, remember to love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember.
And so, knowing that there is one love, one life, one infinite intelligence that animates every one of us, we know that we are not separate, but we are one. Individuations are still part of that one. And so we join together as one, recognizing our oneness and giving thanks for it. We're grateful for this knowledge, for this awareness, for this wholeness. And so I give thanks, and I open and ask that everyone opens to the promptings of that spirit, that oneness, that divine love. And so as I call that into being, I give thanks, as together we say, and so it is.
I want to say thank you to the band for going with my little ad lib there. That was very well done. Thank you. What a cool band we have.
Yeah. Thank you, Farrell. Beautiful reading and prayer. So, Delanne is helping with the youth this morning. We're very grateful for that, and we miss her. Leslie is at the Positive Music Festival sharing her original music. So keep her in your good thoughts and wishes. It's wonderful that she's there and sharing her talents. But we still have plenty of estrogen up here.
It's all on me, isn't it?
Yeah, so grateful for Melissa Montana stepping up and singing some music. We are going to sing together. I invite you to sing along with us. This is a fantastic tune by Karen Drucker, and I've made it a medley with Melissa Felipe's Remembering Who I Am, yes. So a very simple song. Please sing along with us.
I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth. All that I am, all that I do is a blessing to the world, a blessing to the world. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth. All that we are, all that we do is a blessing to the world, a blessing to the world. We are remembering who we are. We are remembering who we are. We are remembering. We are remembering. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth. All that I am, all that I do is a blessing to the world. I am remembering, I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering.
Yeah.
You all sound great out there.
Thanks so much for singing along. Well, yeah, Mary Tebbs was going to do special music today, and she just wasn't feeling well this morning. So Shemaine stepped up, and yeah, yes, Yes, Wonder Woman that she is. So we're going to share this beautiful, beautiful medley by Michael Gott.
Did you just call me Shemaine? I can't remember.
I did, I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
So if you're
Okay.
totally confused, I have more than one name because I'm changing my name. And Farrell says he's going to tease me by making up different names every week, Goldilocks or whatever.
Sorry.
Anyway, and since I have the mic, I'm going to totally take advantage because Rick won't brag on himself. But Leslie was 2 weeks ago at Big Sky, and she performed 4 of Rick's original songs.
Yeah.
And it was so exciting. And she involved a bunch of musicians there and sent us recordings. It's very exciting.
It was thrilling. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Just one life to live. The gifts I have, great and small, I give them all. I give. Simply, purely, from my soul. Here I am, a vessel to be used. Whatever Spirit needs of me, I will be, I will be, I will be. Here I am. My heart is here to serve. Wherever love is leading me, I will go, I will go, I will go. With open heart I give. With open mind I know the truth within me. With open eyes I see the gift unfold. I give my open hand for you to hold. Here I am, a vessel to be used. Whatever Spirit calls me to, I will be, I will be, I will be. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I can do. Whatever Spirit calls me to, I will be,
you. That was a medley by Michael Gott. I learned it in the car this morning on the way up. And it was totally worth it. Isn't it gorgeous?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, Melissa, that was amazing. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. Wasn't that beautiful? It is my great honor to introduce our guest speaker today. Anyone who takes classes online through home office is familiar with his name. Reverend James shares information with us and helps us get registered for our classes. Reverend James Peake, believes learning about and practicing unconditional love is a key to living in a powerful, creative, and joy-filled way. He is an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister, has served as a senior minister of a local community in Long Beach, California, once upon a time, and is currently the spiritual education program manager at CSL Home Office in Golden, Colorado. He holds a bachelor's degree in Management Information Systems from the University of Phoenix and a master's degree in Consciousness Studies from the Holmes Institute in San Diego. He enjoys living among the pines and the foothills of the Front Range outside of Denver, where he can hike and golf to his heart's content. Please join me in welcoming Reverend James Peake.
Whew, that's a lot to live up to. Who is that guy? I'll tell you, it's amazing. 64 years later, yeah, a lot of stuff happens in your life, I guess. Well, I am really excited to be here this morning and thrilled. My very good friend who I went through school with, of course you all know her very well, Reverend Nicole Murgis, is not only my boss at home office, she's a good friend and my host this weekend, so I've had a great opportunity to hang out with her and Pete and another of my good friends, Barbara Novak. So it's really been a wonderful weekend, and hopefully I won't ruin the weekend with this talk, but we're going to find out, right? So if I do my job in 20 minutes, you're all going to say, oh, thank you, or maybe 30 minutes, or maybe an hour, I don't know, we'll see what happens. So we are playing with a theme. So the global theme this year for CSL is Living Everyday Wonder. And this month it's been Living Everyday Wonder as it relates to work. Not necessarily a job, because a job sometimes is like, oh, I gotta go to work, I got my job. But the work we do in the world, what's our vocation, what's our activity? And this week specifically, the title that we're working with is Living Your Dream. Now we are provided a general idea and some outlines, but if anybody knows me, I'm gonna take that and kind of turn it on its head. Because I'm a little out of the box, and if you're not, well, just strap in, hold on. And if you are, let's go for a ride. So when I think of the dream that we're going to live, living my dream, well, what is that dream? Is that the dream that's in the mind of someone who's separated from spirit, who has this perception of a God outside themselves, where they think that they're a little me having to struggle through life, and oh, if I could just, my dream could just come true, everything would change? Or is it the beautiful, powerful, loving, peaceful, joy-filled expression of this one life that is allowing a call to come through, a call to show up as their life? Is that the dream? Is that the dream that we're looking to live? And we're going to play with that a little bit this morning. I do have a quote from Dr. Holmes. Ernest Holmes said in The Science of Mind, for those who like the citation, it's 487.5. The belief in a life apart from good is a dream from which we must awake if we are to taste the waters of reality which flow from the source of life. And the word I really love there is reality. So if we're just living in our mind, or we're thinking we're separate, or we're feeling we're separate, and we're having to struggle, we're not really living in the truth. Because there either is oneness, there is one life, or there's not, right? We can't have it part of the way. We can't say, well, here in the sanctuary this morning, we're in oneness, but out there, no, that's separation. So if we're going to go with the idea that there's oneness, then it is all one. So reality must be that we are of it, that we are the presence, we are the power, even if our perception is not allowing us to see that, understand that, or feel that at this present moment. So how do we make that shift? How does it happen? Well, the short answer is we let go of the limiting beliefs, we allow the power and the presence to show up as our life, and we never have any concerns. We allow the ego to fall away, and we're done. Right? That's it. Okay, thanks. But seriously, if there is one life, and we're going to go with the idea that there is, and it has the greater ability to synchronize, organize, bring into our experience something beyond what our local mind or our local experience or our local thoughts, our local imagination could ever come up with, then why wouldn't we allow our belief in limitations, our desire to control, our ideas about working with God rather than being the presence to fall away and to simply step into that life? That life is looking to live as us, not just through us, but as us. Step into that reality that we are the principle, we are the one presence. Well, part of the challenge, I think, is actually how we've approached it. Because in this teaching, in this world of science of mind, you can certainly find numerous quotes and talks and writings from Ernest Holmes and others which speak to the fact that we are the presence. There is no separation. But often we talk about oneness. We teach about oneness. But how great of a job are we doing, truly, in supporting each other in living oneness and experiencing oneness? I mean, it's a great idea. Oh, we're all one. I've got no worries. We're all one. It's lovely. I may hate that political party, but we're all one. Yes, it's lovely. But do we really want to make a shift? Do we want to move beyond our ego, beyond, when I say ego, it's one of those catchwords. It's kind of like God is a catchword, right? Someone says, do I believe in God? I say, well, give me your definition first. Because I do have a belief and a knowledge and an understanding of the one life, which we can call God. But if you're talking about Grandpa who's out there possibly loving us, possibly judging us, I got to pass on that idea. So when I use the word ego, what I'm referring to is really just the idea we have in our mind that we're separate. We're identifying with the idea that I'm a me, I'm separate from life, and that I'm not allowing or really have the understanding or the perspective that whatever this is, we can call it an I or a me or Jim or James or Reverend James or occasionally Dr. James. I get that occasionally, but I haven't got the doctorate yet, but you know. But it's really just another expression of life. As each and every one of us are, as this microphone is, these papers are, it's all one life. The back of it is the one life. And we're not just connected to it. We aren't tinker toys that hook up and connect to God. So when we say, oh, I really feel connected, are we feeling connected or are we allowing the sense of separation to fall away? So it's beyond the connection. There's just a sense of oneness. Are we allowing that to occur? And if not, then how did we get here? How did we get to a place in life where we are so grounded in the idea that there's a me separate, that I have a hard time, even if I desire, even if I believe in this concept of oneness, of actually living it? Well, for most of us, it started when we were wee little. Now, science of mind, new thought has been around a while, so now we are into second and third generation. In fact, my children are second generation new thoughters, if you will. But most of us, I imagine, we're not brought up with the idea that, oh, sweetie, you're a beautiful expression of the one life. You are love incarnated. And every step you take is the presence moving through life. Now, I was told that, oh, I'm Jimmy, and I'm a little boy. Oh, you're a good baseball player. You're going to really be a special person someday. Not you are going to be an amazing expression of one life someday and support and serve the one in the work you do in the world. And it's no fault of anyone. It's just the way life was. And so as we grow into adulthood, we're totally supported in this idea of separation. It's in the stories that we tell. It's in the movies, the books, the video games. That we're all out there struggling. We're trying to make our way in the world. Our thoughts are about who likes me, who doesn't like me, what do I need to do? I, me. As we get into this feedback chamber, this echo chamber of separation, It can be very challenging to allow that to begin to fall away and really just live as the presence. Even our theology supports this idea, especially in the West. Now, yes, New Thought came along in the early 1900s, late 1800s, depending on how you look at the timeline, to support the idea that there's one life, one God, oneness. But for the most part, the theology of the West is one of some type of creator outside of us, that even if they're a loving God, they're still separate, and we are hoping for favors, and we're trying to do good work so that we get blessings, and we don't end up in a hot place, we end up in a nice place where we go away. But the simple truth of it all is that there's one life. Our perspective, our lived reality, is based upon the idea that we have, the idea that we live with. Now, if we live with the idea way out here that there's a separate God and I have no power, what some of us would call victim consciousness, I'm just, I go along in life and nothing seems to work. And all the power is outside of me and I have no idea. Now, at the other end would be living as the one, where the sense of a separate self, the sense of a me, has fallen away greatly, if not totally. And I'm just moving through life, allowing guidance, allowing spirit, allowing love, simply be what is, and see what kind of life shows up there. Most of us are somewhere in between. And we may come into this teaching and say, yeah, old concept, let go of that idea that God's outside. I'm going to go with the idea that we're all truly of the one. But are we still somewhat trapped in the idea that, there's a power for good in the universe and I can use it. I can use it. Me, a separate person, I can use that power. So that becomes our perspective. Or maybe we evolve a bit, as we say. I'm going to be a little more spiritual, and I'm going to allow God to create in my life. I'm going to co-create. Except there's a challenge with that too. If I'm co-creating, then I'm kind of like the sidecar, right, on one of those motorcycles. So it's got the sidecar. Yeah, God's driving, I'm just hanging out over here. But is that really oneness? And I would offer no. It's a great idea. It's a great concept. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to allow spirit, more into my life. I'm going to co-create. But it's still really not oneness. So my perspective in that case would be one of allowing to turn it over. Maybe I have a lot of gratitude. But there's still a sense of a me that's got the reins, that's having to at least pick the destination, at least say that that's what I want in life. And that I will use the power and the presence of spirit, of life, because the creative process is available to anyone. And even the victim, even the powerless person is using the creative process to manifest what they believe in life, right? Life will mirror back to us what we believe. But if I can move even out of co-creation and really step into the idea, allow that belief in separation, allow those ideas that come up about a me or an I to start to fall away. Move into a different, more powerful way of being in the world. Not only does the dream come true, but it's not just my dream, it's life living me. And it shows up in ways that we could never imagine because the one mind, the one intelligence, has an infinite number of possibilities, an infinite way to organize and move and have subtle energies to move in as our life. If I allow that idea to grow, then life definitely starts to shift. So if we got into this predicament where I think I'm going it alone at times, even if it's not all the time, even if I feel like I have to do this, I have to set intentions, I'm going to use treatment, I'm going to set my intention. How do we begin to shift that to living as the prayer, living as the manifested treatment? Not sitting back here doing treatment, but living as the treatment, as the prayer, as the principle, as the spiritual heart. So here's what's worked for me. So I'll share a little bit about what's worked for me in my life, and maybe it'll sound decent to you, and you'll show up at the workshop this afternoon. Okay. Well, the first thing I found to be most powerful is find a way to get into the silence. Now, if it's meditation and spiritual practice, that's great. Of course, the trick with spiritual practice is if we go into spiritual practice with a goal in mind, well, again, it's like, okay, so I'm putting myself back here, I'm hoping to gain something out of spiritual practice, as opposed to just going into meditation with the intention of just allowing the meditation to be what it is. But over time, whether it's meditation, taking a walk, I had a wonderful hike yesterday, my friends out at, wait for it, I just drew a blank. Starts with an S. There we go. Wonderful hike for a lot of the afternoon. And when they say, I lost myself, you do. You lose yourself. The self goes away. And you're just in the moment, right? So there's a body moving. There's an energy. There's eyes that see. There's ears that hear. There's feet that feel. There's a body. There's still a personality. But the self has fallen away. And there's just the one. So, sometimes we get all mystical. Oh, oneness. Ooh, this is so mystical. It's not. It can be, but it's also just every day. If you played sports, and I did through high school, I was decent in some sports, others not so much. But if you've ever experienced the flow in sports, or I imagine, I'm not an artist, I'm not a musician, I would imagine it's similar for an artist who's creating something. They're just in the flow. It's moving. It's happening. Or a musician. When the reference to a self, the reference to a me has fallen away, that's oneness. There's no separation. So it doesn't have to be this mystical thing we're going to sit around and chant for an hour hoping to become the one. We already are it. It's just our perspective, our understanding is that we are seeing, hearing, feeling, thinking in a way that has separation. We're not it. So the silence is a way to allow those thoughts and all that chatter to start to fall away. Because behind all of it, where creativity manifests from, is this deep silence of life. And so if I'm going to get to the silence, what's one of the key things I need to do? Well, start to observe my I thoughts. How often am I thinking about I want this, I need that, I hate that. Oh, this talk is really good. Oh, I don't like this talk. Who is this dude? Why'd they invite him? Oh, that guy, Reverend James, he's hitting it for me this morning. Okay. But all those thoughts, all that I stuff going on, start to look at the I thoughts, and then if there's like a lot of energy behind any of them, what's the energy about? What's going on there? And we want to be radically truthful with ourselves. No, I said ourselves. The real challenge in this oneness dance is we don't have any good pronouns. We still have to have selves and I's and you's and me's. It's not like I can walk into a sanctuary this morning and somebody introduces himself to me and I say, oh, it's so nice to meet me. But really, that's it, right? It's the one meaning the one, just a different expression. But really, look at those I thoughts. Be radically honest with ourselves. What's going on behind it? So if I say, oh, I really hate this. Well, okay. What's that about? What's going on? Is there a way to see that maybe in a higher way or a more loving way? Because when we really step into living as the spiritual heart, compassion becomes a natural energy, a natural movement. Because we can have more compassion for the world. We've got a little bit of division going on in this country. I don't know if you've noticed in the world at large. I don't know. Maybe a little compassion might be a good thing. I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility. So another thing that I found that can be very helpful is give up the idea that we're going to get a reward. Oh, if I can be in the oneness more, I will have a life filled with joy and happiness and never have a concern. And, oh, it's just going to be so blissful. Maybe. Could be. Certainly have those moments. But if we're looking for a reward, then again, by definition, there's a me wanting a reward from God, which now, if it's from God, God's outside me, obviously. And this reward thing can be very, very, very subtle. Oh, if I become a practitioner or minister, you know what people are going to think? They're going to know that I'm spiritual. Yeah. It's a trap. So maybe the reason, the purpose, the idea behind spiritual practice, behind being loving, behind the idea of I'm just going to look to show up is the presence, is that it's just more truthful. It's more real. Maybe that becomes the whole reason I want to know the truth and live the truth. Because I can tell you from my perspective, as we move into that, life gets infinitely more interesting. And things can occur that we never imagined. Another tool that we can use, or that can use us, or that we can just fall into is visioning. So if you've done visioning, if you had a visioning practice, whether it's part of the center, maybe the practitioner core might do visioning, or individuals may do it for their life. But we are opening to a higher idea and a higher truth in it. So it starts to allow for a perspective, an experience, if you will, of something outside of the localized idea, the localized thought, or the localized expression of the idea of me. And we're truly opening up that Spirit has a grander idea for whatever it may be. Whether it's going to be a new class we're going to teach, whether it's going to be my own personal life, or my work in the world, whatever it may be. Visioning can allow for that greater idea to come through. Now, the opportunity we're going to have this afternoon, if you have the opportunity to make it and came to the workshop, we're going to look at some other steps and other things we can do to kind of facilitate this idea of what is oneness about and how do I move into it. But what I thought I would share is a little bit about my life and how this has kind of worked its way through my life and changed some things. So Rob mentioned I was a senior minister in Long Beach, and I had actually moved there within a year after finishing ministerial school. And the idea was I would be the assistant minister at a particular community, and then the senior minister, after about 5 years, would retire, and I would become the senior minister. And so I would have 5 years to get to know the community, and then me, and all that good stuff. And about 2 years in, she decided she didn't want to wait 5 years. She was going to retire after 2 years. And even prior to that, we'd had some challenges in the community. And after that, it was one crisis after another after another. And after 5 years, myself and the board got to the point where we just didn't see eye to eye on things. And from a higher perspective, which I didn't really get at the time, it was me pushing against the universe. Because it was an idea of, I'm going to be a senior minister, I'm going to lead this community, blah, 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 all this great stuff. We're going to have a powerful youth program and a great practitioner core. But I was always in crisis pushing against. So that fell apart. And within 2 years of that, we're going to take a 10-second break. Within 2 years of that, my marriage fell apart. So I had a choice. I could hang out over here and, I have no power, what am I going to do? I could get very powerful and say, I'm going to use the law for good, I'm going to do something, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get really proactive, I'm going to take control. Or I'm going to co-create with God, presence, life. But instead, I made the decision to look for wholeness. Almost like the phoenix rising from the ashes. I wanted to see if there could be something different. And what I doubled down on was going within and just finding the truth within. And sometimes that was not the easiest thing, to admit that, you'd kind of been fooling yourself for years in a lot of areas of your life. But as I allowed and eventually just went with the intuitive guidance, went with what felt true in my body, in my heart, I got very clear the direction that I wanted my life to go. And it was 3 words: peace, joy, wholeness. Didn't know what that was going to mean, how it was going to show up. But what I came to understand was that, oh my gosh, every time I visit my son, who lives in Colorado, and my good friends Michelle and Ken, who are in Colorado, I just always felt really peaceful and joyful. So I said, yeah, I guess I'm supposed to move to Colorado. And I did. Did all the in the world of effect stuff you do, get a real estate agent, find a house, get the big rental truck, load it up, drive to Colorado. And about a week later, called my good friend Nicole, was at home office. We had lunch. We were just talking in general. I had no idea what work I was going to end up doing. I'd gone back and done some training in some of the IT-related stuff, so I could do that if need be. I really knew I didn't want to be a pulpit minister anymore. It was clear that was not my call. And lo and behold, about a week later, there's this job posting shows up for a job at home office. And I'm like, coy Nicole, she didn't even mention this job. It's in her department. And I was like, how come she didn't mention this job? Does she not think I'm qualified? I'm clearly qualified. This would be great. So I sent in my application. I just did it straight up, just set my application in like any other candidate. And then a couple weeks later, after I was hired, I said, you were really coy at lunch, weren't you? You were holding back. And she said, I had no idea the position was going to happen. So there were some shifts at home office, and suddenly it became available. And at the time, I felt like, okay, this is my work to do. I can support an organization that is looking to make a difference in the world, that does believe in a vision of a world that works for everyone. I had no idea that ultimately here, 2 years later, that it would be, if you want to call it, the dream job. Because this position and what I'm doing pulls and calls forth all of the different life skills I have, my ministerial skills, my skills as a teacher, as a curriculum writer. I use technology and tools to support students and teachers and centers. And with some recent changes at home office, I'm now also heavily involved in some of the IT support, which I love information technology. I get it. It's not for most, or for necessarily all people. But it's part of my makeup is it really works for me. So I went from the dream job and the dream situation, living in the nice house in the beach in Huntington Beach, doing ministerial work in Long Beach. The quote-unquote dream that fell apart. But that was the little me, or the me's dream. Life had an idea. It's clear that there's an organizing principle. All of this couldn't exist without intelligence. And that intelligence, that life was looking to live itself and experience itself as a thing called Reverend James. And that the guidance and things have aligned in such a way that, yes, that dream job is now my reality. And I know for each and every one, we are all cut of the same cloth. That intuitive guidance voice, that voice of spirit, is within and available as each of us. So my invitation to you this week, should you choose to accept the mission, James, is to trust in this thing called life. To allow any fear, any idea of separation to either take a backseat or fall away if it will, and just show up and live life as that beautiful expression of the one that you are. Please join me in prayer. I invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. What I'm present to is the truth that there is this one life, that this one life is known by many names, whether we call it God or Spirit, Allah, Jesus, the One. Any words, any ideas that we use to try to ascribe to it cannot fully express what it is, but yet in our hearts, deep in our soul, we sense that there is this one. It's the logical outcome of our thoughts. And as there is this one life, it's clear that each and every one of us in this room, those watching through live stream, those that may tune into this talk later, are simple expressions of this one life. That yes, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, but so much more. We are the manifestation in form of the spiritual heart, of the omnipresent intelligence. That this energy, this spirit that moves is beyond any labels of good and evil, right and wrong. It's just the sweet note, the sweet song of life upon itself. The life experiences itself as us. That it would know no experience of what it means to be human without the manifestation, the expression that we bring forth in every moment. So right here, right now, I speak a truth on behalf of each of us. But I know that there's a call of the heart. There's a song to be sung that brings with it joy and peace and calm and fun and laughter, connection, friendship, all the things that we ascribe to being a spiritual being here at this time. That there's a way to move in the world, to always have a reference point of the truth of one, of the spiritual heart, of the peace and the calm that must come from an intelligence so grand that is beyond imagination, that it creates a universe constantly recreating pieces and yet never diminishes itself. That we move with that energy, that energy is who we are. So I just speak words of gratitude for the opportunity here and now to remember this truth for each of us. And for that law that constantly takes the impress of our heart, our soul, our mind, and makes it so. Love points the way, and the law makes it possible. And so in this truth, standing in this truth, we simply let it be. We let it go back into that law. We know we've done nothing here in our thoughts or my words to change spirit, to change God, but to simply recognize the truth that is always here. And we proclaim this, we anchor in this truth together by simply saying, and so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Do you all feel this oneness? Everyone give a round of applause for Reverend James Peake. This is the time of conscious giving for our center, and we believe that goodness and wholeness and connectivity through abundance is a spiritual practice. I'd like to invite the ushers to please step forward. And I'd like to affirm with us, as through treatment, that there is only one great spirit through all, of all, in all, and that includes us, that is us. There is no duality. There is one great spirit expressing through us, and this includes our abundance, and our finances. And I speak for all of us, the reminder that there is enough, there is always enough, and that this center relies on our giving to keep us healthy and moving forward. For us, I speak wholeness, fullness of wealth and abundance, and gratitude for all of this. I'd like you to join me in repeating our giving affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be, and so it is.
When I think about living my dream, even when I was a little boy, I wanted to be a musician. That's all I wanted to do. And but I also wanted a family. I wanted to make a decent living, and I just couldn't put those things together. That was way before I came into this philosophy. I love making music here, and I love sharing it. It's just not as good when I do it by myself, so I'm so grateful to have just talent all around me. It's wonderful. Well, I want you to sing along with this song. You all know it. You're a boomer, or at least a boomer wannabe. And you can put it in the context about just having so much ease in your work that it just comes naturally, that living the dream is natural, it's effortless, and it's joyful. So let's sing this song together. Taking care of business. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So whistle up above and people pushing, and the girls who try to look pretty. And your train's on time, you can get to it by 9. And start to save and job and get your pay. If you ever get annoyed, look at me, I'm self-employed. I love to work and nothing all day. I'll be taking care of business. with a right bunch of fellows. People see you having fun, just a lying in the sun, and keep you kicking this way. Baby, door, they all self-employed. We love to work at nothing all day. We be taking care of business every day, taking care of business every way. We be taking care of business. It's all mine. They're taking care of business and working overtime. Go Ricardo. Yeah, working. Taking care of business every day, taking care of business every way. We be taking care of business. It's all mine. Taking care of business. I'm working overtime. Yeah.
Reverend James, thank you. That was a brilliant talk. I didn't think anybody could have me riveted talking about oneness. It's something that we toss around here so often. To get into the nitty-gritty of it, so often, I speak for myself, I leave this building, and as soon as I get behind the wheel of my car, oh my gosh, it's anything but oneness. So, what a practice. I want to know what Reverend James knows. So I'm really excited to be at the workshop today. Don't forget that. Lunch included. Wow. 1 o'clock, right here. Thank you all for coming. Have a blessed week. Look for the everyday wonder in your work, in your vocation. Even if you're retired, there's stuff that you do that you love. And notice all the wonder in that. Let's sing together our closing song. Let's work together. You ready?
Rory's leading us.
1, 2, 3, 4. Together we stand, divided we fall. Come on now, people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, together we stand. Every boy, girl, woman, every man. Before things go wrong, as they sometimes will, let the road we travel seem all uphill. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. You know, together we stand. Every boy, girl, woman, every man. 2 or 3 minutes, 2 or 3 hours. What does it matter in this life provide? Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Now, people, together we stand. Every boy, girl, woman, every man. somebody happy, make someone smile. Let's all work together, make this life worthwhile. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Because together we stand, every boy, girl, woman, every man. Come on, all you people, walk hand in hand. Let's work together, a good place to stand. Let's work together. Come on, let's work together. People, together we stand, every boy, girl, woman, every man. Take us out, Rory.